Hello, hello. This is Dr. Anastasia Chopolis with another episode of Raise Your Frequency. And good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you are. Today I'm going to talk about the law of attraction and how it can work for you and what stops it. So, a lot of people, you do your vision boards and you hang them up and you keep it top of mind and you do your affirmations. Affirmations, like a lot of people say things like, I want to attract my ideal mate, I want to attract my soulmate, or allow to bring in so much money every month. So you say, let's say $10,000 flows into my bank account every month. You do all these positive things and it doesn't work. And then you might be wondering why. And what you don't think about is all the successes you've had. So now let's think back to all the successes you've had. So I always talk about raising your frequency, and there's a good reason for that. So let's sit up straight, put your shoulders back, and take some nice deep breaths all the way down into your belly, and imagine the air going down into your toes and into your fingers. And while you're doing that, smile, put a smile on your face. And the reason why you want to do all that is that it really sets your body up for the energy to flow through it. And when you smile, it actually instantly raises your frequency. Because when you think about the emotions that we've got, the low energy emotions, the lowest are shame and guilt, and the highest is love, joy, and happiness. And when you're in a happy state, things happen a lot better. So I'm going to describe some instances where people have succeeded. I know I'll describe one in which I've succeeded. And that is, if you look, I've got a couple of my paintings on the wall. I didn't start painting until I was 50. And I had no idea that I could. And it didn't matter to me whether I created a nice painting or not a nice painting. I just simply followed the instructions. I envisioned what it was I wanted to create in each painting. So let's say this one right here, it's a field of crocuses, and I wanted it to be like soft and romantic and kind of like that, rather than like really sharp and like a photograph. I wanted it to be looking like somebody was looking through some glasses that had a little fuzz to them. So it was a kind of a romantic feel to it. That was what I thought of in the beginning. And I had no I just envisioned what I wanted, and I had no emotional attachment to it. I was just in the joy of making it. So when we try to imagine more money coming into our bank accounts, for example, what is it that you're thinking or feeling at the moment? So in the joy of creation and in the joy of being in the doing, rather than thinking, oh, I really have to create a really great painting right now, and now I'm worried about every brush stroke that goes down, and now I'm getting really upset and angry because it's not looking the way I wanted it to. That's when things get shortchanged. That's when you shortchange yourself. That's when you come down. So the first thing that I am telling you about, the first thing is, what emotions are you feeling when you're in those low energy emotions of anger and guilt? Oh, it's not looking good enough. I'm never good enough. This is never going to happen. Then you are drawing yourself down, even though you're doing all the things right. You're going through all of the motions. You have your vision board, and you created all of your affirmations, and you're doing little gratitude things every day. And as soon as you stop doing them, you start going into these looping thoughts of how it's never going to work, and I don't understand why I don't get it. And you're focusing on, let's say, your debt or your lack rather than the abundance that you already have. So that's the first thing, is what you're feeling. And the next thing is what your intentions are when you're creating it. So when I was creating the art, I just wanted to be making art. I had no preconceived ideas. And that's with everything. The same thing when I was working in the field of science and I started a new research project. I didn't have any idea that I would be as good as I was. I just simply was doing it. And I was enjoying the doing it because studying science for me, it's like, catnip. I'm like, oh, that's so interesting. Oh, wow, that's so great. Rather than thinking I need to do this to be a really great scientist. You can't decide to be a great scientist, you just do it. So, thinking about that, that's your intention. So, number one is emotion, and number two is intention. Like, why did you start the project in the first place? Like, no scientist that turned out to be really great, let's say like Einstein, he never started out to be really great. He just was in the process. So, when he was asked one time, Professor Einstein, how is it, how is it that everybody is trying to prove you wrong? Like when he came up with a new idea, and he says, I'm not interested in being right or wrong. I'm interested in knowing whether I am or not. So that is really being in the place of your intention is sheerly the joy of it, and the expanding the curiosity and enjoying the process. So a lot of us we're worried about our money, and it's going down the drain and going down the tubes. We forget that the thing that we're doing to earn the money is what gives us the joy. So being in the joy of it is going to help, and the intention always is, when you're earning it, that you're actually helping the other person. So my intention when I connect with somebody for the first time is that in that first call that they're going to walk away with something actionable. Whether they work with me or not is immaterial. Whether they do something with me or not is immaterial. It's that I am in the joy of helping that person, right? So that's why sitting up straight and breathing deeply and putting a smile on your face and saying something like, I'm so grateful I am, which is the highest gratitude there is. Not grateful I have this house, or grateful I have all this knowledge that's in these books, or grateful whatever. I am grateful that I'm here and I get to experience life, right? And then the third thing is taking action, right? So the first is, how are you feeling, your emotions? The second thing is your intentions. What's the intention of doing whatever it is you're doing? And the last thing is taking action. Sitting and contemplating your navel is never going to get anywhere. So for me, when I started this business, for example, or let's go back to the research, either one. When I was in research, I just read and read and read and read and read. And I read let's say I was studying a particular mineral. What particular mineral is CAMGSiO3 or Si2O6, and that particular mineral is called diopside, and it's this beautiful green crystal, and a lot of people have diopside jewelry. It's a little soft, but it's really cool looking. It's like this it's brighter than emerald green. And when I studied it, I found every article I could on that particular mineral. And as I read about it, it started to, create a picture for me. So then when I went in the laboratory and studied it in my particular way, I was very successful. I wrote a paper on it. It's published. It's out there. And I was simply in the joy of doing it, right? And the same thing with starting a business. When you run a business, you have to take all the steps to learn how to run it. So, getting your frequency up gets you into that joyful place. And one way to do that is, for example, using a little meditation, or, just even doing those little steps that I named, even cutting all the cords to all those poopy ideas that you had that are filling your head. Just let them all go and move forward, and just keep letting go, letting go. And one of the examples of letting go is, I used to have double the number of shelves like this, and they were all full of books. And then I still had overflow. And over the years, I've just simply let go books. And I said, am I ever going to read these again? I said, no, let somebody else have them and enjoy them. So I donated them to the library. I donated them to Goodwill. I just let them all go, even though I paid basically thousands of dollars for the books. And I still have to go through and cull these books too. So letting go of your old ideas is like letting go of your old books. If you need them again, they're going to be available for you. So you're going to let them go and move forward and gather the knowledge that you need. And some of them you'll take and embrace, and some of them you'll let it go. And it's just like when I was culling through all of the information on diopside, what I did was I would read that, and there would be two conflicting pieces of information, and then I would dive deeper and find out which piece of information was the more accurate, or the one that was usable. And I would find ways to figure that out. That's part of the research process. So likewise, in business, let's say somebody says you should blog more. So you get on and you start blogging, and you don't get the traction you need. You do all the things, you post on social media, and other people say, oh, you should do Facebook ads. So you try doing Facebook ads, and that doesn't work. So you keep doing something until something sticks. And of course, the last thing out of the three, so the first is how you're feeling and your emotions, and the second thing is your intentions, the third thing is the actions and the research, and the fourth is trying it out. So one of the ways that I get my frequency clear is I run through all of my morning routine, which includes stretching, and includes walking, and includes eating a nice big tall green drink and a vegetable juice drink that it's very hard to drink down, but I do because I know it does me some good. And also breathing and meditating. So a good meditation is something that you'll find on the front of my website, and we'll put the link there right now for you to opt in and download it. It's only 11 minutes. It's called Wake Up Your Brain. And the second is in my 5-day success program, which I'm running live once a month. It is going to start live next Monday on the 11th of December, and it's going to run for the whole week. So you can interact with me there, and just be on the lookout because I'll be running it live once a month. And I love interacting with people, so put a little note in the box to say hello. And any questions you have, you can ask me now. So then there we go. There is the brain audio. And the next thing, and then the success challenge is scientifichealer.com. I forgot for a second what I was going to say. scientifichealer.com/success. And you'll find that here too. And you'll be opted in to be on the live one. You'll be getting notices towards the end of the week. And you'll also see stuff flying around on all my social media platforms to let you know that they're coming. And so then the last thing to do is be in the joy of it. So the highest frequency that we humans typically exist at is in joy. And when you're out of joy, like I had a little episode last week where I had some work done on a tooth, and I do not agree very much with Novocaine, and I should have said none. But I didn't, and I allowed them to put Novocaine in. First of all, it didn't work, and second of all, my lymph nodes all swole up because it doesn't like, my body does not like chemicals, and I was sore on the side of my face for a week, and I think it sent me into a bit of a depression. I think it was more of a chemical depression, and it was really hard to get things done. And so when you're in joy, it energizes your body, and you can also imagine it going through in all your cells. So if it's in one cell, I was poisoned in one cell, then all of my cells were poisoned. And if I'm clear now of it, then all of my cells are clear of it, because our thoughts, feelings, emotions, intentions, and mental concepts will either prevent you from going forward or not going forward. So you can do all the lip service you want. Oh, I'm doing my affirmations, I'm doing my vision board, I'm doing my gratitude list and all of that, and I'm learning the things I need to learn, and I'm taking action, but nothing is happening. And that's because there's these back thoughts and underlying thoughts of, oh, it can't possibly work, this is silly, and things like that. So you'll find all kinds of stuff on the law of attraction, but it follows energy. It does not follow your actions, it follows the energy. So getting yourself into the right energy is in the right place, and I'll talk more about it on the Success Challenge. So I hope to see you there, and have a good week. And if you have any questions, please put the questions in the box, and I'll always come back and check later. So if you're listening to it not live and you're listening to it later, I will be happy to answer those questions. Okay, have a great week. See you next week.